Alright everyone, this is Holly Doug, the Mono Black Mage, aka the Black Boy, and today I'm going to be showing off my Karn Pox deck for Legacy, because I have a big upcoming tournament if I wake up in time in my area, or $25 entry. So today I decided to play Pox with Karns in it, and I played in a MTGO Online League and I went 3-2, and we'll go over the deck. We got let's see, okay, we got Blast Zone, one copy of Blast Zone. We're going to start with lands. One copy of Blast Zone that helps you interact with artifacts and enchantments, and it also helps with the board of one drops and other threats. Bazooka Bog, it exiles the grave. It also taps for black mana. Cabal Pit, you play Cabal Pit because there's a Crucible of the Worlds in there, and there's a lot of cards that fuel up the graves, and it can kill a target creature, and I don't have to worry about stuff like Forceful and Daze against the Delver decks and stuff like that. And oh yeah, and it's great against Death and Taxes because I can keep on using it with Crucible World and keep on taking out the relevant threats. And then 2 Castle Lock Twains, because this deck it can flood out in mana. You want to be able to capitalize off that, so 2 Castle Lock Twains, because it lets the Pox deck grind a lot, and it helps build a lot of card advantage for the Pox deck. Now, a lot of Pox players and other people do not like this card, but I play one copy of Hive of the Eye Tyrant. What this card does is, if you control 2 or more other lands, Hive of the Eye Tyrant enters the battlefield tapped. So, early game, I can play it untapped. Later game it enters tapped, but when I have 4 other mana sources, I can turn it into a threat, a 3/3 threat, and it has menace, so it's really good against blue and green decks with like that Flying Snake Fane and Uro, because that Flying Snake Fane, whatever, I forgot the name of it, it has Death Touch, so I can get around that and I can exile Uro. So that's just a personal tech choice of mine. I play it because it taps for black. And then 2 Mistress Factory, Peat Bog. That's an art. This was an idea from someone in a Facebook group I'm in. This is really good because it really good for getting out your 4 mana cards, because this makes interesting lines of land drop plays. Like, if I'm gonna go for a 3 mana card, it'll probably be my first land drop, so I can cast a 3 mana card turn 2, and then turn 3. Turn 2 as a land drop. I can hold up one land for a one drop spell, and then play this, the enter tap, and then on turn 3 I can cast my 4 drop using the depletion counters on it. So it gets out my 3 and 4 drops a turn earlier, basically, by making in more mana on a single land. It has some downsides though, but this deck can play around the downsides, so I do play one copy of that. It's like having 5 Dark Rituals, but that's a bad Dark Ritual. And then 8 Swamps. It has some basic lands in there, so it's not too wasteland weak. 4 Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. This makes the deck more consistent, because I'm playing 6 double black mana spells for 2 mana in the deck, so I want to be able to cast them consistently and have them turn 2. 4 Urborg helps that, and it mitigates the downside of Peat Bog. It lets me get away with the greedy mana base, and Smallpox and Liliana the Veil are good for filtering out excess copies. And then 2 Urza Saga. It's great because it's a +2 in card advantage. It does mana tax myself, but the reward way offsets the small risk I get out of it. It's just super good. So there's 2 copies. And it helps Pox close out games, which it used to really struggle to close out games. So I think 2 Urza Saga, at least 2 of them, is an absolute must. So I can do things that are low on the curve. And then 4 Wastelands for mana denial. And then let's go on to the spells and such. You got 1 copy of Cling to Dust. This is a cantrip for the deck to draw a card. And stop some problem graveyard strategy cards like Uro. And you got 4... And it's good against burn. I don't play against burn that much, but if I do, this card's really good against the burn deck. I can basically, if I kill Threat, I can basically gain some life, and it basically just wasted I basically break even with one of their burn spells, so that's really good. And then 4 Dark Ritual. You gotta have the 4 Dark Rituals so I can power up my permanents earlier. Oops. We got 2 Fatal Push and 2 Innocent Blood. I chose this card. I chose this ratio because of Ragavan. You have to stop it. You have to be able to stop that card in instant speed because they will dash it into play. But I don't want to go too heavy on the Fatal Push because that card does blank a lot while Innocent Blood doesn't. But the 2 copies are mainly for how common Ragavan is being used, and it also takes out Urza Saga tokens, which I might want to take out in instant speed too. And then for Thoughtseize, some people like to play Inquisition of Kozilek. I think that's wrong because there's way too many relevant cards that are 4 mana or more. So just max out on the Thoughtseize. And then for my Urza Saga 1-drop cards that I can tutor for are Curse Scroll, Nihil Spellbomb, Piping Needle, Retrofitter Foundry. The Curse Scroll is there, so if they have a go wide board, I can help deplete that board slowly. I can slowly kill them with the card. You can also target Planeswalker, so there's a problem Planeswalker in the plane that I need to deal with immediately. I can deal with the lapse points of loyalty or use it for the kill to get the extra points of damage in. And then Nihil Spellbomb to exile grave and draw a card off it to gain extra card advantage. Piping Needle, mostly to stop Planeswalkers, but I can stop other problem activated abilities too. Retrofitter Foundry. Now this is the primary target that I go with Urza Saga because it makes extra tokens that turn my Urza Saga tokens even bigger. So that is mostly why this card is played, and it's just really hard card to deal with. So we play those. Sudden Edict, because it's uncounterable against the Delver deck, and other cards can't respond to it, so it basically guaranteed to kill something, but it's mostly for Delver decks and Show and Tell decks because it gets around their counters, which is huge. 2 Hymn to Torax because it's a 2-for-1. I only go for 2 because the more I play, the more inconsistent this deck is. I found that 2 is the right number, in my opinion. And then 4 copies of Small Pox, the namesake card of the deck. Pox. Each player loses 1 life, discards a card, sacrifice a creature, and then sacrifice the land. I really like this card. It's still relevant, even after all these years, because it is creature removal that's rarely ever done, because you don't even have to kill a threat to kill it. You can just cast it while you're ahead, and then try to pin the opponent out of the game, but it's mostly relevant because of how high of impact it is if you cast it against Delver decks and elves and such like that. They have such a hard time when they're trying to operate on so little mana. Like if I cast this turn 2, I basically reset the board. So there's 4 small pox, and it's just great for. It's just really good for resource denial. It does it all in one card, which is why I maxed out on him and really like it. So, for Liliana Veil, still stable to his deck. The constant disruption is helpful. Discarding cards and killing creatures. Crucible Worlds, to reuse cards like Urza Saga and Wasteland. It can get out of control really fast. And just other lands that I got wasted before, and there's Peatbog in there. Crucible of Worlds helps mitigate the downside of Peatbog, because Peatbog sacrifices itself, but Crucible of Worlds gets it back into play. And then Ensnaring Bridge to help keep creatures in check, prevent them from attacking. Liliana Waker of the Dead. She is basically the 5th Liliana in a Veil, and when there's a lot of Urza Saga, there's also a lot of Piping Needle. So what they'll do is they'll cast Piping Needle naming Liliana Veil, but Liliana Waker of the Dead gets around that with a similar effect. She's kind of not that good for 4 mana, but I do like her because it gets around Liliana Veil getting Piping Needle, and she can't be Abrupt Decayed. And then you got 2 Karn the Great Creator. It's like having a mainboard Norods. And it helps finish out games. It helps answer various situations by being able to choose cards from outside the game that I don't currently have in my main deck. Mine I have in my main deck. So without diluting the deck, I can choose specific cards from the sideboard that I normally would not main that answer cards my opponent has in play, and just be able to choose the best card for the situation I'm in. So it's much better than like playing a tutor or something like that. It's like playing a, like how Show and Tell has their Cunning Wish and Storm has their Burning Wish. Pox has their Karn the Great Creator, because a lot of these artifacts are already naturally good in Pox, so you're not really warping much to play Karn the Great Creator. So I consider Karn probably a stable to Pox, just because of how strong the card is. This help, and another thing is it hoses Aether Vial and artifact mana that gets around my Wastelands and Smallpox, because they can still advance their board while they have that stuff in play. Karn shuts that stuff down, so that's another reason why I really like Karn Pox, and just such a good card. Anyways, and then we're gonna go to the sideboard. Setting Edict for extra removal against Delver decks mostly, and then more removal for other big creature decks like Ranimir and Show and Tell. You got 2 copies of Dotkeep Voidwalker because it's a graveyard hoser, and it's a 3/2 threat that's unblockable by almost all threats in Legacy. So I know when I get this run to play, I'm going to keep on being able to connect attacks. And if my opponent is on big game cards, and I discard them with something like a Thoughtseize or a Hem to Torak, I can use Dotkeep Voidwalker. I can sacrifice it and get that big card in play and potentially turn the game around. Like against 12 posts, one time I Thoughtseize their Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Well, Voidwalker is in play. I sacrificed Voidwalker to get that Ugin. I just completely took over the game. They couldn't do anything. So that's why there's 2 copies right there. It's really good. Engineer playing the deal of tribal decks. Toxic Deluge is the board wipe. And Dystopia, this is my green and white hoser. I think it's really good. Really good. Because there's a lot of Death and Taxes, there's a lot of elves. It answers troublesome permanents like Sylvan Library. And it's great against Maverick. It just has again, it just has a lot of good use because of the high percentages that those decks are played. And I end up boarding this card in a lot just because I want to get so much value out of it. And it's a hard card to deal with. And I'll just keep paying life until I can't do it anymore, just because it just answers almost everything to have in their deck. And 2 Ashiok Dream Render, because if I ritual it into play turn 1, it's a really problem card to deal with. It shuts out their fetch lands, it shuts out their tutors, and it deals with the grave, and I can potentially try to mill them out if they're a deck that draws a lot. It's helping contribute the Ashiok finishing out the game, because you're milling 4 cards at a time, so if they're drawing a lot of cards and I'm milling them, it turns into potential win condition also. But just having multiple instances of graveyard hate tacked onto a single card is a really strong effect in my opinion. So there's 2 Ashioks, because it's a good lock piece. And then the 7 artifacts, Tormod's Crypt, so I can tap down all my mana, cast Karn the Great Creator, and go for Tormod's Crypt, exile their grave with it. Piping Needle, I can tutor for it with Karn to answer activate abilities. Damping Sphere, it's a slow down combo decks and a slow down 12 posts as well. Liquid Metal Coating, because I combine it with Karn the Great Creator, I turn off lands. I can turn off other problems like Planeswalkers with it too while I have Karn in play. And another cool thing is I can use it when I can use Liquid Metal Coating on my turn, and if I haven't used one of the Karn's loyalty abilities, I can choose a target land, and then I use Liquid Metal Coating, and I take up Karn the Great Creator, it destroys the land. But it also has some other interesting interactions. Like I can use Liquid Metal Coating and have Karn the Great Creator play. Use Liquid Metal Coating, turn an opposing Planeswalker like Jace the Mind Sculptor that's in play. Use Karn the Great Creator to turn it into a creature because it's an artifact, and then I cast Smallbox. And I kill the Jace with a Smallpox. And then, so that's pretty cool. Torpor Orb, this deals with Death and Taxes and Doomsday, and also Goblins, which are, Doomsday and Death and Taxes are played a lot in Legacy nowadays, so I want a card that hoses them. And then Snaring Bridge, another Snaring Bridge, so it's like having 3 ensnaring bridges, 1 that I can just naturally draw into, and then the 2 Karns to retrieve the 1 from my sideboard, so there's multiple chances to get an ensnaring bridge game 1 without having to shove 2 ensnaring bridges into the main board. And then Legacy Blattis, combine it with Karn the Great Creator to lock him out of the game. And this card right here, the Peat Bog, is helpful in casting the Mycosine Blattis. That is another reason why it's played, because this is a big mana card. I need more cards to generate a lot of mana. So the Peat Bog is good at casting Mycosine Blattis a little sooner. So, yeah, this is the box deck I ran in the league. I'm still practicing with it. I think I'm pretty satisfied with the build so far. And this is not my best performance, but I'm going to go over it. Threats into play because he had the turn 1 with that, and then I think he goes for Faithless Looting here. Yeah, he does go for Faithless Looting. And then let's see what kind of threats he gets. The Archon of Cruelty into the grave, so he can get it the next turn. So he wasn't gonna go since he wasn't gonna go off right away. I had the Bajuka Bog to follow up with, so he cannot reanimate that Archon. And then I think I passed right there. He ends up fetching our line. I think he actually does ended up being able to reanimate the threat this turn. So I thought I was screwed. It's because he goes for Dark Ritual, he goes for Entomb, and then he goes for Animate Dead, and then he goes for Animate Dead. He draws 7 twice off Gristlebrand, it looks like. He put the Lotus Petals out. He casts Faithless Looting. He gets more threats in the grave. And then he uses up his artifact mana to let's see. Scroll down. He gets one of the Chancellor in the Annex. And I thought at this point I was just going to lose it, but you'll see what I do next turn. And then he ends up throwing some cards in his grave. It's just a bunch of lands, so he didn't have other problem threats to put out. So I put another land out. Since my mana is taxed, I go off with the Dark Ritual first. I have to tap 2 mana. This makes 4 mana right here. I paid 1 so I can get the mana. So when I'm casting a small box, I'm hoping he chooses Chancellor of the Annex, because if he chose Gristlebrand, I couldn't cast my other smallpox. So I cast my first smallpox. He sacrifices. I ditched the Nihil Spellbomb because I couldn't cast my other smallpox if I did that. And then he chose Chancellor of the Annex, so I'm able to Dark Ritual again. I'm able to Dark Ritual again, the smallpox again, and that is what I do because I want to. It's like I'm resetting every tournament that's in play, and then after I cast the smallpox, he ends up scooping, because my guess is what he did was he bent all his mana sources. He bent all his mana sources when he was ditching cards to the grave, because I don't know. I guess it makes sense because it's very rare for me to have 2 Dark Rituals and 2 smallpoxes to play out of what I did. But after I did that, he ended up scooping, because I think at that point because if let's say he had a mana source, all his reanimates would be dead because he would just die by casting it. So he needed 2 mana sources just to reanimate a creature. So at that point, I understand why he scooped. It makes sense. But yeah, that's why. Alright, so this is my first matchup. It's against a red and black reanimator deck. I kept this hand. I didn't know what deck he was on. But yeah, it's a pretty decent hand. Nihil Spellbomb to draw cards. Smallpox to deal with creatures, and then the Snaring Bridge to keep a lot of creatures in check. So let's go to this play. He goes with the Unmask. He starts off with Unmask. The moment he casted Unmask, we had a Battlelands in play. That's when I knew he was a reanimator deck. I ended up keeping this hand because there was a chance that I could still have a chance to win if he did not have a turn one win. But what he does is he gets in Snaring Bridge, and then he goes for Dark Ritual. He goes for Entomb, And I think he goes for Gristlebrand right here. Yeah, he does go for Gristlebrand. And then he animates then Gristlebrand. And then he pays 7. And he just goes off. I think he passes the turn right here to minimize the amount of cards to discard. And he can also put a threat in the graveyard if you wanted to. So let's see. Okay, he puts a Faithful Zealot in the grave. Let's see. I put Hive of Dietire in play, and then I cast Nihil Spellbomb in case he gets more creatures into play. So at this point, I'm just hoping to resolve my Pox. But unfortunately, the first game did not go well at all. So he goes in for 6. And then he draws another 7. And I'm just keep constantly getting out of control. And then he unmasked me again to get rid of my Pox, because he knows if I cast it, he's going to lose one of his creatures. He goes for another Faithless Looting. And then, oh yeah, I didn't even see that, but he didn't already have a Chancellor of the Annex and the Grief in the graveyard. He tries to reanimate a threat by Nihil Spellbomb to make sure he does not do that. And then let's see, no legal targets. He casts Dark Ritual, casts into him, and then I can just concede right there because. Alright, on to game 3. I mulled down to 5. Yeah, I mulled down to 5. I did not like this hand, but I thought it was keepable because if I drew another Black Source, I could land my Docky Voidwalker. I think I ended up getting rid of the Blast Zone into Ashiok. I think it's Ashiok and Blast Zone I mull. Let's see. Yeah. Mold the Ashiok, mold the Blast Zone. Because Ashiok is just too slow for this hand. So, yeah, I'm lucky mold down to 5. And I think he had a turn 2 hand because this is what happens. I play Swamp. And I just drew Innocent Blood. So if you put a creature into play, I can answer it depending on what the threat is. So, I cast Thoughtseize. And then he ends up scooping this one. My guess is he went mold to 5 and his hand was really bad. So his hand was really weak to a single Thoughtseize. So the moment I cast Thoughtseize, he might have been out of the game for all I know. But he didn't realize my hand was also bad because I needed another black permanent just to get Voidwalker into play. And I didn't have another land yet for Urza Saga. But the whole point of that Urza Saga was to get Nihil Spellbomb. I wasn't expecting to get out a threat of it, but yeah, he ended up just scooping early because you don't want to. I guess you don't want to play against Pox, which is understandable. So, yeah, we'll go on to match number 2. All right, so for game 2, I'm against Alucard, who is considerably one of the best Pox players in the world. So I felt this match could have swung both ways because he knows a lot about my deck. I know some things about his, so I ended up getting paired against him. He's on the Lone Pox variant. So let's see, I keep this hand. It's kind of greedy, but it had Liliana Veil, so I thought maybe it had Dark Ritual and Liliana Veil and had Thoughtseize and cleaned it up to get another lane, so I thought maybe I'll keep it. So let's see, I didn't know what he was on at first. So I went Dark Ritual into Liliana Veil. I ditched the Smallpox because I'm low on mana sources. It makes no sense to keep 2 Smallpoxes in hand without knowing what kind of deck he's on. So I ditched the Smallpox because I don't want to tax my own mana at this point. So let's see. This is the Sudden Edict. And then Mox Diamond. He gets Wasteland. He goes for a swap. And he gets Ashiok out. And his list plays more Ashioks. I think his list plays more Ashioks than I do, because he can alternatively mill his own deck to get life from the Lone Engine out when he really needs to. So, I mean, in a desperate situation, he could do that if he really needs to, but most of the time you don't need to do that, I don't think. But anyways, I still could not draw another land. I think I go for Thoughtseize here instead of Clean the Dust, try and get another land, because I want to make sure he's left with no cards in his hand. Nothing in play really poses a threat right at this point, so I Thoughtseize him. I was thinking about it, going for Clean Dust, try to take a chance at a land, so I was lucky to get that Piping Needle out of the way. I did take up Liliana Veil because I want to get her up, and I do have some dead cards here. I did choose the Thoughtseize. I felt like at that point the card's just going to be dead, because he does have 3 mana sources out. He can pretty much just cast anything he wants, and he can just bring back lands, so cutting on Mott. Let's see, discarding the Thoughtseize. Discarding the Thoughtseize made sense because it just looked like a totally dead card, so he brings back some more lands. He mills me again, so I don't have a grave to work with. And he's trying to mill me out. So let's see, I go for... I think right here I cling to Dust. Yeah, I think right here I cling to Dust, the Life from Loyal, hoping to draw a land. I still don't draw lands, but so I did Dark Smallpox because I don't want to sacrifice my own lands while he's on the Lone Pox deck and he's flooded out with mana sources. So I just ditched the second Smallpox right here, and I'm hoping to get ult and hoping he does not get the Abrupt Decay soon, because otherwise it just wasted all that effort to trigger up. And then I played the Nihil Spellbomb to prepare for another Light from the Loam, I think. Yeah, I do trigger up but one, so I can, when I do pull off ultimate, that she does still survive. I ditched the Dark Ritual because I have no payoff cards. Yeah, I do. Yeah, he did just fail post, it was dead. And I just cast an Nihil Spellbomb to prepare for his next Life from Loam. Let's see what he does. Yeah, he just keeps on flooding out mana. He gets his own Liliana Veil into play, but my Liliana Veil's higher mana. So I think what I do here is I go for ultimate. I separate the 2 piles. I think I choose Ashiok, Liliana Veil, Mox Diamond into 1 pile because they are the hardest permanents to deal with. So I put those 3 right there. And then I keep the 4 lands out, because so they either keep the walkers and not be able to really cast anything, or they keep the 4 lands out and hope to top deck something. So I was pretty happy about that. But my Blast Zone can be answered by Wasteland, so that's another problem. This was pretty bad because he got Liliana Veil out. He gets rid of my... let's see. I think I just let it go right here. Yeah, I just let the Dark Ritual go. And then I get the Nihil Spellbomb off, exile his grave and draw a card. And then he wastelands me so I don't have extra mana for my turn. I discard the Wasteland because I want to have double black. I think that's better than this trying to waste his third board. And I draw another swamp and just taking up Liliana the Veil here. It's a pretty long, drawn out game. Yeah, he gets a Wasteland out. And we just keep flooding on lands and not really do anything. I drew the Cabal Pit. And he wastes me right there. And he has the light from the limb again, so let's see. Try and scroll down to catch up. I draw another Urborg, which is a dead card. Now, when I did Needle, I probably should have just named the Wasteland, maybe, because let's see. Because Liliana the Veil is already at 1 loyalty, I'm able to cast everything I draw into at this point. I should have named Wasteland on that Piping Needle because now I kind of want to keep it in play, because keep it in my hand, because I worry he's gonna just waste it and just recycle his life from the Liam. So yeah, that was a misplay on my part, naming Liliana the Veil over Wasteland, because Wasteland is the bigger problem right here, because he's gonna be able to stop all my non-basic lands. So because that Loam engine is a really big problem. Yeah, it's a really big problem. This ends up being a really long game, so I got lucky. I ended up getting the Bejucal Dog. So what I do is I exile his grave. That answers his life from the limb, so I don't have to deal with it until he gets another one. I think he fetches here because he wants to draw some action. Yeah, you just fetch land here. I don't know why he didn't. Let's see. I don't know why I did not play the factory there. I should have just casted the I should have just put the factory into play, because he didn't have life from the loam anymore, so there was no reason to keep it in. My hand, but I didn't realize that until this turn. So I play Mistress Factory because I notice he doesn't have life from the loam anymore, because I want to be able to start applying pressure while he's stumbling, flooding out mana sources. He goes down to 14. He gets Castle Locktrain out, and this is a problem because the pressure I have on board right now just isn't enough to deal with that Castle Locktrain. So let's see. Yeah, I just keep flooding out mana sources. Not able to put any big permanents into play yet. Let's see. Get this. I turn Mistress Factory into a creature, so I want to start pressuring him before he gains way too much card advantage off that Castle Locktrain, because I think he does it right now because he has some. Oh yeah, he goes for the Sunny Edict. I lose a creature, so he's one less card, and now he's minimizing the damage he takes from Castle Locktrain, which means he's gonna have a higher chance to top deck something. So that's what he does. He goes through the Castle Locktrain. He draws a card off it. And at this point, I was worried because he had the lead. And he casts Smallpox. I get rid of his blood because it's completely dead in this scenario. Yeah, and I'm in a trouble situation right here because he has Castle Locktrain out, and he has ways to turn Mystery, and he has mana to put turn Mystery Factory into a creature, and also have enough mana for cast Lockchain without taking life loss. So that's what he does. Yeah, he's gonna Lockchain at the end of the turn, hope to draw something that will present a problem to me. So he goes for Castle Lockchain. He goes down to 10, and with all his card advantages, I'm in deep trouble. He just casted a Mox Diamond. I think that was done intentionally so he does not take much damage off Castle Lockchain, because at this point you can't really afford to take so much life off it. So that's what he does. And it was a detonate card anyway, so it made sense. I just drew another Urborg, so I'm in trouble. Because it's a while before I draw something good. While he's going to keep on turning Mystery's Factory into a creature and drawing cards out Castle Lockchain. And he gets another factory out. And now he can, I think he forgot to swing in, or he accidentally chose the one with Summoning Sickness, so I was pretty lucky about that. But based on what I draw, I don't think it mattered so much. Because I drew a Summoning Edict, that made sure I can keep one out of play. I Thoughtseize right here, hoping to discard something, but I discard nothing. He just has another land in hand, so I take 2 lands just to get info on that. 2 life just to get info on that, and then let's see. Yeah, he just keeps drawing cards. Yeah, he just keeps drawing cards. Building lots of card advantage. See what his grade's like. Let's see. Plays another Mox Diamond, which he intentionally did so he doesn't take so much damage off Castle Lockchain. And then when he swings in, I choose Sudden Edict here. Because if I did Sudden Edict, oh, never mind, it didn't matter because he can't respond to Sudden Edict. But right here I do Sudden Edict, so I kill a strat. I kill one of his strats to minimize the amount of damage he takes, slowing him down. So I'm down to 11. He's down to 7. I'm just trying to top deck something. I drew Liliana Veil, which isn't so bad. But it did not matter because Piping Needle was in play, so I guess it was bad. And then, yeah, he draws another card off Castle Lockchain and goes to 5 because I have no pressure out. It does not matter how much life he loses. And, yeah, Smallpox is here. I'm glad I kept Liliana the Veil in the hand in play. I'm glad I kept her in the play because I didn't want to lose 2 lands in one go. So, I did Liliana the Veil and then I get rid of the Urborg. I get rid of the Urborg so I can play the one in my hand. Yeah, I get rid of the and he goes in for 2 again. This is a very close game. Yeah, this is a very close game. But I drew Karn the Great Creator, and this is when I start to turn things around. But I screwed up right here because I didn't see the Cabal Pit. So what I did was, alright, let's see. What I did was I cast Karn the Great Creator. I did not carefully look at the board state what I do is I uptick the Piping Needle, I turn it into a threat, but that's bad because now he can just Cabal Pit and kill it. And now that gets his Liliana the Veil. That makes it so he can cast Liliana the Veil. But Karn's at 6 right now, so I can -2 him the next turn and choose the best possible target from the sideboard. So I turn this game around the moment I drew in a Karn because I just start building card advantage of my own to keep up to keep up with the permanents he has in play. Let's see, he takes up Liliana Veil, he gets rid of that. He gets Urza Saga in play. I'm not so worried about Urza Saga because Karn's at 4. I get -2 to go for Ensnaring Bridge. I think that's what I do, and just hope he doesn't get the Abrupt Decay. I think that's what I do. I drew Mistress Factory too, so I'm able to... Yeah, I think I... Yeah, I go for... Yeah, I go for the Ensnaring Bridge, and then I cast it. And then... I... Just hoping he does not have the Abrupt Decay, which he doesn't, which I'm glad he doesn't, because I would have lost that one if he didn't have the I believe I would have just lost that one because he would have killed Karn, but I drew Urza Saga, which totally, having the Urza Saga and Karn together was just too much on him. And his, he can't use his Retrofitter Foundry because Karn's hosing it. Like, he gets a token into play. I'm not so scared of it because I got the Ensnaring Bridge to keep it in check. I'm not so afraid of it because I got the Ensnaring Bridge. And then I draw a Wasteland. And then I go for Lattice right here. I think I tapped down almost everything I have in play. I cast Lattice, and now he can't do anything. He can't attack me because I got Ensnaring Bridge in play, so I got him blocked out of the game. And then right here, I think I don't make a token. Because I know you can't do anything anyways. I don't want to time my mana up in that. So I go for Curse Scroll. He scoops. He scoops because he knows. Alright, so we're still in match 2. And this is game 2 of match 2. Against Alucard on Lone Pox. And let's see, I think I keep this hand because it has the double Void Blocker in it. So if one gets killed, I have a backup. So I ended up keeping this hand, I think. Yeah, I ended up keeping this hand. Yeah, I keep this hand. I start off with a Swamp. I drew my Dystopia because I know he's going to try and use Sylvan Library on me and try to outvalue me. Yeah, I'm liking what I draw into early in this game, but it did not line up the way I wanted it to. He fetch lands twice right here. Yeah, he fetch lands twice right here, and he goes for it. I hit the Torok, which hits my Dystopia, which I was hoping to stop his Sylvan Library with. I drew another Swamp, so I go for the Voidwalker. So, and the reason why I chose Voidwalker is so I'm able to apply more pressure against them, and also hose his graveyard. So I want to apply more pressure when he gets his Sylvan Library out. I want to punish him for paying life off Sylvan Library. Yeah, he does have a lot of removal to answer him, but when it does stick, it's very impactful. It's just he gets the Urza Saga out, but I'm able to immediately answer that with a Wasteland. But he has the Sylvan Library out, and that's very troublesome because he's just able to draw a lot of cards off it. The moment he enters my Voidwalker, he can just start drawing cards without getting punished from losing all that life and drawing all those excess cards I can't deal with. I Wasteland right here. He gets exiled, which is great because he can't use the loam engine. I just swing him for 3. I probably could have sacrificed it to get the Urza Saga for myself, but oh no, I couldn't have not done that anyways, because because I already did my land drop. And he goes for Leon and Veil. He immediately answers my Boy Walker because that's a threat. I draw the Wasteland. I think I Wasteland here because he does not have the loam engine yet. But that was no, I don't think I Wasteland right here. I probably could have waited until he Wasteland in my Wasteland so I can hit something of his, but I didn't want him to get another 3-drop out. But I think I get punished for that. Because he can just draw more lands off Sylvan Library anyway, so I don't think that really mattered. And I think he just, let's see what he does here. I think he just goes for something. Oh yeah, he just goes for life from the loam. So he just gets that Wasteland back, so I'm 1 card less. While he's gaining all this card advantage through life from the loam and Sylvan Library, I'm losing the card advantage. I get rid of the Peep Bog because it's just too slow in this scenario. I can't risk playing an attack because he's just going to waste it again before I get any value. He Thoughtseize his Mind Snaring Bridge, so he can go out of control of Urza Saga if he needs to. I get Wasteland out because I get Wasteland out over my Castle Octrines because I don't want him to waste it. Yeah, so he goes for life from the loam here again. And he goes for Wasteland, he Wastelands me, and I can at least get a land out of it this time, but it does not matter because he just brings it back into play. So unless I draw some graveyard hate, it just doesn't even matter. So yeah, I'm just hoping to draw something that'll hate the graveyard, but then I draw into Thoughtseize, which is not good. I get rid of the Sylvan Library, but at this point it does not matter because he already has a Sylvan Library in play, and now he's able to get that Wasteland back. He's able to get that Wasteland back and basically lock me on the game with the loam because I can't get more lands out unless they flat out in basics. And he just, let's see, I think he's just looking for his deck. He goes for it again. He goes for the Wasteland again. He goes for Leon the Veil. Let's see what he had. I go for him to Torak. Doesn't really matter because you can just lung those cards back by casting anyways just to get out of the hand. It's looking really bad on my side. And then he gets Ashiok out. And from here I just think it's over. I can't do it. I can't really do anything. He has a Sylvan Library out, Liliana Veil, and an Ashiok, and that's just way too many permanents to deal with. And then I just draw Liliana Veil, and then I eventually scoop to this board state because I'm just gonna. I think I just lose because he can just. Let's see. I don't think I scoop right away. I think I scoop to something. There's something I do scoop to though. I think it's Urza Saga is what I scoop to. Because I have no answer. Because I can't answer it. He draws another card. He draws another card. He gets Urza Saga out, and from there, I just scoop. there's way too much card to deal with. So yeah, he uses way too ahead of the game. There's just no possible way to draw out of this, because he's probably just gonna take up Liliana Veil. I lose the Dark Ritual, so there's not a single top deck that would get me out of this scenario. So we're gonna go on. I think I would be in trouble regardless if I did the optimal play or not, just based on what I saw. But yeah, so I start off with the Curse Scroll. He gets Double Mox Diamond out, and there's a Saga. I'm able to follow up with the Wasteland. Yeah, I follow up with Wasteland. He smallpoxes me. Well, he doesn't have a land, and I do have a land in play. I ditch Liliana Veil because I'm too far off from casting it. And then he follows up with another Urza Saga, hoping to throw me off again quickly by having another Wasteland to deal with it. And then he gets Mistress Factory into play. Yeah, he turns Mistress Factory into a threat. I take 2. I hold up my mana right here, so I'm able to Summon Edict his Mistress Factory. And then as I go to my turn, I end up exiling his grave with Ashiok Dreamrender. But he answers it with an Abrupt Decay, so that mattered big time. You'll see later in the game. And he casts Liliana Veil. I cast my Donkey Voidwalker so I can get Liliana the Veil down to 1 and try and Curse Scroll to finish it off, but he has the Abrupt Decay to deal with my Curse Scroll. So I was pretty sad about that, but I did have another land that turned Hive of the Eye Tyrant into a creature, so that Liliana the Veil will not stick. And then as Urza Saga goes to 2, I get them Snare and Bridge out. I think he just makes a token right here. Yeah, he makes a token. And he names Karn the Great Creator so he doesn't lose to the top deck Karn. He Liliana Veils, but I have a card I can cast, so I kill his token. I leave the Urborg in play, assuming he's going to tick up Liliana Veil. Some lag. Let's see. Okay, so yeah. He surgicals my Liliana the Veil. So that wipes out all copies from my deck. Okay, let's see what goes on here. Okay. Let's see what we miss. Castle Lock Twain. I ditched my I ditched my Peabog to the Liliana of the Veil. And then I drew into Wasteland. But I already used my land drop for the turn. I think I held on to it intentionally because I wanted to draw more cards to get to my Ensnaring Bridge, but I think that was a mistake because he's just gonna take out Lily on the Veil anyway, so that was kind of a waste of a Wasteland. And as you can tell, I'm playing pretty sloppy when I didn't realize it. Draw Smallpox. Both cards don't matter in this situation, so I just leave them both in my hand. So I have them in my hand after the alts. Now he's gonna ultimate right here. I choose to get rid of the top pile because I want the Ensnaring Bridge, I want the Castle Lock Twain, and I want the Hive the High Tyrant. But the Ensnaring Bridge goes against my own Hive, so that's another problem. And then he follows up with another Lily on the Veil. I was hoping to connect an attack, but it didn't work that way. I did draw Urza Saga, which did help. I did draw Denial Spellbomb, which I was happy about. Urza Saga. Yeah, I kept the have 2 mana up so I can make a token at the end of the turn. Make a token. Make another token, and then I tear out, I think, Piping Needle right here. Because Liliana the Veil is at ultimate. You fetch lands. Gets the Sylvan Library out, and that's really troublesome because I can't apply pressure while my Ensnaring Bridge is out. And you can draw cards without. And I think I screwed up here. I cast Docky Voidwalker. I should have kept it in my. I should have kept it in my hand because I would have been able to attack with my tokens the following turn. And brought him down to 7. And I think that was a mistake on my behalf. Yeah, I think that was a big mistake on my behalf. I still could have casted Docky Voidwalker the following turn because I had 3 lands out. So now I'm only able to attack with Docky Voidwalker. I think that was the big mistake on this game, was casting the Voidwalker that prevented my tokens from attacking. Because I was too worried about what he was going to put in the grave, but yeah, that's where I screwed up. Because I ended up losing this one. And I'm not able to get to 4 cards in my hand again after this. I start milling him, hoping I can raise him off that. Hoping to raise him off milling him out, but that doesn't work either, which you're about to see. Because he also is he's also going to race me that way. So he mills me. Yeah, he mills me. And then he has smallpox. And I have the Dutch Karn, the Great Creator. And I'm just not able to get to my next card in time, because he's applying enough pressure to close out the game. He mills me again. I'm down to 17 cards left in my deck, and he smallpoxes again, so I can't. He smallpoxes again, so I can't get under my own bridge. I think right here I should have just sacrificed the Voidwalker. I had another choice to go for the Voidwalker and maybe go for Urza Saga, take his Urza Saga or I could have abrupt decayed his Ashiok or something, or abrupt decayed my own ensnaring bridge. Like abrupt decayed his Ashiok, so you want to keep on milling me cards, because now he's just going to mill me out of the game. He gets out another Ashiok. He gets another Ashiok. I think I could have used that Voidwalker and try to cast something he had with a Void counter. I can't remember exactly what he had, but if he had an Abrupt Decay, I could have got rid of that Ashiok. So now I swing in. I swing at him instead of the Ashiok, which I think was a mistake. No, it was not a mistake. Because I'm down to 3. I mean, yeah, I could have tried to beat that Ashiok, but I didn't. Because if he would have milled me, I'm just dead right here. Because he's down to 1 card in his deck. I'm down to 2. He's gonna mill me. I'm dead. So he played that one well. Unfortunately, I didn't. So I kind of like my opening hand, because I'm going first. I can him the track, Dark Ritual, him the track, Thoughtseize. The him the track goes first, so it narrows down my selection when I go to Thoughtseize. So that's what I do. Dark Ritual, him the track, and then Thoughtseize is reanimate card, and that would have allowed him to combo off. And then he duresses me. He gets rid of my smallpox. But based on what I draw next, that isn't good enough, because I get my Retrofitter Foundry into play, so I got pressure when I start to draw lands. And I can't play this Urza Saga, because if I draw another land, I'm just going to get out of control really fast while he's stumbling. Or if I don't draw another land, I get a token with Retrofitter Foundry. So it was beneficial to have out both ways. So let's see. Yeah, just after that initial blow, him the Twarak Thoughtseize, he's just not able to build his combo back together in time. Because right here, I just draw the Urborg, play the Urborg, and a turn, make a token. And then I make I tutor out Nihil Spellbind, so if he does manage to get bend a creature to the grave, I can just deal with it with the Nihil Spellbind. So I just swing him with 4 right here. Sorry about that. So now I got 8 pressure on board. Icing and freight right here. Eight. And I just leave my mana up, so if he was trying to reanimate, I can exile his grave and draw a card with Untitled Spellbomb, or I can make another token to apply additional pressure if it's needed. He thought seizes me, which I guess he wanted more info on my deck before he scoots, which is smart. And that was quick because I stopped his initial combo. I got the Urza Saga out while he was stumbling, and that's how I closed out the game versus Blue and Black Reanimator. Game 1. 2 against Blue and Black Reanimator. I keep the hand because it's good against his deck. He thought seizes me. I think he thought seizes the clean because he does not want me to have interaction when he reanimates threat. And then I thought seize him. I discard the Entomb. I'm trying to get rid of both Entombs here. I probably should have gone for the Piping Needle though. Maybe I should have gone for the Piping Needle because he had 2. Because I want to be able to use my own Castle Octrine to draw from my deck. I let the Thoughtseize resolve, so it's 1 less damage I have to take off Castle Octrine. I Octrine for right there. I Thoughtseize him again, and then he goes for the Entomb. This time I go for the Piping Needle because I don't want him to turn off my Castle Octrine. So now I got 4 mana up, and I'm able to get Castle Octrine by using the excess mana from the Peat Bog. I go for Smallpox right here because I want him to have 1 less. I want him to have 1 less land so he can't Castle Octrine. And he had a threat in his graveyard anyway, so it doesn't matter if I give him more threats to work with, I think. Yeah, it didn't really matter much that I gave him more threats because he still had more stuff to reanimate, so I just chose to just completely wipe out his hand. Because I'm able to deal with what he puts into play because I got the Klingadus. And then right there, I use up the rest of my remaining depletion counters that were on my Peat Bog. He uses Castle Octrine to draw some additional cards. Yeah, he uses Castle Octrine to draw additional cards, and does not look like he's able to draw his reanimate spells. Yeah, he's not able to draw his reanimate spells for whatever reason, so I think he's having some bad luck. So I think I fire off the Dark Ritual because I want to minimize the amount of damage I take off Castle Octrine. Because right now I got 5 lands out. I'm pretty sure I can just cast anything I draw into, so I just did that to minimize the damage so I can Castle Octrine more. I draw in the Wasteland. And then I think I go for the Eye Tyrant right here. Because I want to start exiling. I want to start exiling all his threats. I want to start exiling all his threats in the graveyard. He casts this card. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. And then, I don't know why you didn't cast a Locktrain right there. I thought you had enough mana. Yeah, I don't know why you cast Locktrain right there. Because you would have had another card to try and go off with. Because right here, he tries to reanimate. And then I just, I go for the Clean of Dust and I just exile his card. Exiling some of my own. And I gain more life on that, so I'm able to cast the Locktrain some more. And then I Wasteland his Castle Locktrain, because I can afford to do it now. And I turn my... Oh no, I don't. I think I want to Locktrain again right here, so... Or Clean the Dust. I think I leave the mana up so I can Clean the Dust or have the ability to summon Edict. So I'm not ready to attack with the mana land yet until I get him down to 1 creature in his grave. He tries to reanimate again. And then I cast Clean the Dust. I gain 3 again. And now I go for 5. No, wait, no. I turn Hive of the Ice Iron into a creature. And that deals with his remaining last threat, which is Iona. And now he doesn't have anything to reanimate anymore. He fetches, which gets him down to 5. He's on a turn 2 clock, and he just scoops because at this point, you're just dead. So, I did get pretty lucky that game, but yeah, that's how that one went. Okay, so this is match 4. I think it is. Deck is called Bant Lands, Bant Control, whatever. So I end up having to go second. Start off with a swamp, get myself set up to cast my Hymn to Thorax. Yeah, get myself set up to cast my Hymn to Thorax. I need Force Negations here, which I'm happy to make that trade because I'm still getting a 2-for-1 out of it, which makes it easier to resolve my bigger cards like Liliana and the Bill right here. I think he tries to get a card that can deal with it, but he was not able to get it because he used the Force Negation on the track. He probably did not want to lose those precious cards in his hand. He gets the Prismatic Ending. He's able to stop my Liliana and Veil now, so that's probably why he wasn't afraid of it really. But my Urza Saga is at 2 now, and I'm able to cast my Retrofitter Foundry while I have mana up for my Urza Saga. And I get a threat, and I go for another threat, and get another threat out, and then I think I go for Nihil Spellbomb here so I can deal with an Uro if one enters the graveyard. And then I go in for 4, but I think he goes for Dress Down and I lose my threats. Yeah, he brainstorms. Fetches. And he does go for Uro, so I was happy I went for the Nihil Spellbomb there, because if I didn't do that, that Uro would have gone out of control. So at the end of the turn, I choose to exile his graveyard with the Nihil Spellbomb to draw into another card while exiling his grave. I tap down to try and cast Karn the Great Creator, and I resolve it. I get the Tormod's Crypt to prepare for another Uro. And Karn just takes over this game from here, I believe, because he's not able to deal with it. And then I try to cast Liliana of the Veil, but that gets forced. But I just choose another card, and I go for Piping Needle, because I'm not exactly sure what deck I was against at this point, so I think I blindly named Jace the Mind Sculptor later. Draw the Factory, I plus Karn. He goes for an Endurance, which I don't really mind, because I got Retrofitter Foundry to make tokens, and I got Fatal Push to deal with flash threats too. So I just make the token right here. He wastelands the Mistress Factory when I tap down, and then I block it. I hold on to the Fatal Push because I want to be able to deal with another flash threat later if I need to keep Karn alive. And Karn's at 3, which means I can -2 him and get something else out. He gets an Uro. He starts to flood out with mana sources. And then I just make a token right here. I go for the Ensnaring Bridge because he does have an Uro in the graveyard. I feel I end up casting it. Yeah, I end up casting it. And I resolve it, so his Uro can't keep attacking and gaining card advantage. This will keep the Uro in check. Attempt to resolve Thoughtseize, but he has Krakas, so I just lose 2 life just to get info on his Krakas. I go in for 1. And then I cast Curse Scroll. And then in response to Swords of Plowshares, I make a flying token. And then he gets Uro out. And then he gets another Uro out, and he's trying to gain a lot of card advantage and gain a lot of life. But Karn the Great Creator does not care about how much life you gain. So at this point, going for combat damage is out of the question because he just has too much life and he has an Uro out. So this is why Karn the Great Creator is so impactful in the Pox deck, because it's stuff like Uro that makes it so I'm not always able to close out games via combat. So I want a card like Karn that can close games outside of combat pretty effectively. Let's see where the lag took us. Okay, so I go for Liquid Metal Cone with Karn. Yeah, I go for Liquid Metal Cone with Karn. And then, let's see. then I think at his upkeep I turn off his Krakus. Yeah, just uses Krakus in case he has some legendary creature to reuse. I don't think he does though. I don't think he would though, but I do it just in case. Shut off his Krakus. And he just doesn't have enough cards in his graveyard to reuse the Zeros, so I'm totally ahead of this game. I'm trying to slowly kill off his lands with Liquid Melatonin Karn, the Great Creator. While also applying a little more pressure, but the pressure is just too little for the amount of life he has. So I have 2 Piping Needles here. I just took out his Krakus. Right here. I name Jace the Mind Sculptor here because I don't even know what I'm up against. Sorry for the lag. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'll make more tokens. Let's scroll down to see what I did. Yeah, we didn't miss much. I used liquid metal coating to take out both Krakas and then Tropical Island. And I chose to hold back on the Wasteland because I'm trying to get mana for Mycosine Vladis. I'm in a pretty good spot. He cycles right here, I think, because he wants to get Uro into play. And he fetches again for another card. So you can another card to get his Uro. The getter. Yeah. So he gets Uro out. But he's down to 18 cards in his deck, so his amount of answers are limited. And then I get another token out, and then I curse scroll him. I try to take a chance on that. And then I get Liliana, Waker of the Dead out. And then I start filtering out dead cards. And then I use Karn to start taking out his lands. Now, this was a little bit more of a concern because he got Field of the Dead out because I got 4 cards in my hand. So I was a little worried. Because if he goes too wide and kills my Ensnaring Bridge, I can be out of the game. He gets an Endurance out. So he can draw more lands. Make his deck bigger. And I just turn my other card into a flyer so it can hover over his other threats. And then I just go for Lattice here and he's out of the game. Yeah, I cast Lattice, he's out of the game. I have enough threats to block his stuff. And yeah, he's out. Okay, we are up against land control. I'm hold his hand to 6. Swamp, I cast Retrofitter Foundry. Get the Urza Saga out. I try to go for the quick kill, but he punishes me with the Force of Vigor. But he also loses Uro, so I'm not so upset with that. And I have 2 Mistress Factories, so I'm not mana screwed. fetch lands for another basic. Goes for Brainstorm. Gets Caracas out. Happy to draw Karn. And I just go in for 1. He gets a Shark Typhoon so he can hit his land drop. And then end of turn I exile his Shark Typhoon with my Cling to Dust. So I don't know if his deck could reuse it or not. I don't want him to reuse it. I cast Lowing on the Veil. I make him sacrifice his tokens so I can swing in for 1. And then he follows up with the Prismatic Ending, which does deal with Lowing on the Veil. And now I'm attempting to cast Karn the Great Creator after I swing in with my Servo. Taking him down to 1. Attempt to cast Karn the Great Creator. Well, that gets countered by his Force of Will. He loans back some of his cards. And then I think I try to bait the counter with Lowing on the Veil so I can resolve my Ensnaring Bridge when he does get Field of the Dead. So I go for 3. Go for 3 right here. Attempt to cast Lowing on the Veil. But she's gonna get countered. Yeah, she gets countered. And then I'm glad he countered my Lowing on the Veil, because now I can use my Ensnaring Bridge to keep these zombie tokens in check. Play another swap, and then there goes the Ensnaring Bridge. And he tries to put out additional threats, but it does not matter because I'm able to keep this Ensnaring Bridge in play. And I draw Nihil Spellbomb. This will deal with their grave. And I draw a card off it, which was Crucible, it looked like. I cast the Crucible. Yeah, play your board, cast Nihil Spellbomb. And I activated it, the exile cards from the graveyard. What I probably could have done was I could have wasted his Field of the Dead, Nihil Spellbomb. Wasted his Field and didn't exile his grave, so he would have lost his Field of the Dead too. But at this point, I'm had enough that it didn't matter so much. But that's something to look back at. So I waste his Field of the Dead right now. He responds with both his fetch lands. So yeah, he responds with both fetch lands. So you can go wide, and he's trying to draw Prismatic Ending to put an end to my Ensnaring Bridge and just close out the game, but he does not get it. He's not able to get it this turn, so he passes. Okay, hitting the Torak right there. Yeah, hitting the Torak right there. And then I wasteland another mana source. And I can just keep I can keep recycling my wastelands here. He's keep on going, and he wants to, he has 4 threats out. Let's see. And I go for Castle Lockcoin here, which gives me Cabal Pit, which can deal with the zombie tokens if I need to, but I didn't need to because I got something better, which was Karn the Great Creator. So what I do is I cast my Karn. I cast Karn. And then I go for an Ensnaring Bridge. Casting Ensnaring Bridge, which means I have 2 Ensnaring Bridges in play. So if he draws the Prismatic Ending, I have a backup bridge. So I just go for Mycosine Vladis here, and then I just... He just scoops before I'm able to cast it. So that's how I finished that game off. I won it outside of combat with Karn the Great Creator. Used the Ensnaring Bridge to keep his threats in check. So this is why I do like the composition of the Karn Pox deck. Is that it's able to win reliably both through combat and outside of combat. For combat, I win with the Urza Saga. Outside combat, Karn the Great Creator. So, alright, so match number 5, I'm against XJ Cloud, which is one of the best Death and Taxes players in the world. He's on the Urian variant, and I just get destroyed here. I'm going to play for it anyways. I keep this hand, I thought it was decent, but it didn't line up well with what he was doing. He goes to Urza Saga. And then gets Valia. I go for the Innocent Blood, but it didn't really matter because he has an Urza Saga play. Go for the him, and I mean I get him down to a few lands, and he's still a few cards in hand. He's still able to come up on top. He just runs me over with these Urza Saga tokens. And then he gets Retrofitter Foundry out to make his tokens even bigger. And he gets another Urza Saga out. Runs over my Leona Veil. I can't kill one of the tokens now, so I just ditch a card that I don't need. And now he's going to make more additional tokens later. So I think he swung both of them at Liliana the Veil to ensure she is dead. And then I try to Castle Lockcoin, get nothing. Dark Ritual, Castle Lockcoin again, get nothing. Good, casting the Torak. But he just has enough pressure on board to close out the game. So he makes another token. They are 4/4s now. Goes Urza Saga. They are 5/5s. And now they're 6/6. He finishes off, and I'm dead right here. 18 on board, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead. I just get destroyed. Okay, match 5. Game 2 against Death and Taxes. I also get destroyed here. I started off with Swamp, Dark Ritual, Liliana Veil, and I discard Smallpox. Because I didn't know if I was going to draw a land the following turn. And Smallpox is really bad if they have Aether Vial out. I just choose the Edict right here, so I can cast one of my hidden tracks and hopefully hit something big. and I hit the Stoneforge Mystic in the plains. And I thought that was good until he followed up with Urza Saga, and then casted Thalia, and let's see. I ended up just sacrificing Liliana the Veil to that. Let her die so I can cast the Hidden Torak right here. Well, letting the Thalia go. And right here I was hoping he would not draw a land. From here I was hoping he would not draw a land, so his Urza Saga goes off and he mana screws himself, but that was not the case. He drew a Krakus. So now he's able to make a token. Now he's able to make 2 tokens and tutor instead of just being able to tutor. Now I Piping Needle here, I think which was a mistake, the name Urza Saga, because I already had a Fatal Push in my hand, so I was able to deal with one of the tokens. So what I should have done was, I should have just waited to see what you tutor out for, so I can needle that. Because right here he just makes another token. He goes for another retrofitter. He goes for the Retrofitter Foundry. Yeah, he goes for the Retrofitter Foundry. Now I push. And I can't deal with that Retrofitter Foundry now because I wasted the Piping Needle on the Urza Saga. But I do draw a Swamp, so at least I'm able to draw cards off Castle Locktrain. But I would have been happier with Wasteland there to knock him off that Krakus. Now he's able to stick another threat, start to beat me down. So I go for the Castle Locktrain. I just draw into a Swamp. And I draw a Smallpox, hoping he would not draw land again, so he can't use Retrofitter Foundry to make more tokens. But that plan unfortunately did not work either. Yeah, that plan did not, fortunately, not work either because he drew another land. So now he swings in for 3. I'm down to 3, and he's able to make a token at the end of the turn. I draw Crucible Worlds. I didn't realize I had an Urborg out when I didn't realize I had an Urborg out, but I could have casted Crucible right there. I didn't realize I had an instant value out of it, so I didn't cast it. So I think that was a mistake on my part, but it didn't really matter. I wasn't using that mana for anything. So I just take the blow right here so I can cast the Locktrain, hoping to draw something that can deal with the board. So I go for Castle Locktrain. I just draw an Urborg. Then I cast it. And he makes another token. Takes me down to 5. I mean, it takes me down to 3. I draw a factory a little too late because now he can shove another threat and close out the game. So, just like the first game, I got ran over again. Maybe it was that Piping Needle. Maybe it was that Piping Needle mistake. But also just drawing all those lands really sucked as well. Off those Castle Octrines, I kept flooding out with nothing to cast off them. So I turn Factory into creature, I block it, and he's able to squeeze in 3 damage self. So I lose that game, but I'm not surprised. I was against one of the best Death and Taxes players in the world. But yeah, that was the league. I went 3-2, so wasn't horrible. I think I definitely could have done better. But yeah, that's what the Pox deck is capable of. I'm gonna stick with Karn Pox. I think I like how versatile it is, how much grinding potential it has. I think it's the best way to play Mono Black, in my opinion, just because of how strong Karn the Great Creator is and Urza Saga are. You put them both inside the same deck, and they combine together, and you have some artifact synergy. So yeah, I'm not a pro Magic player, so you can expect me to make mistakes. Anyways, hope you